There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
Hey guys, what's going on? TGIF, and welcome to another lunchtime learning session here on CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. And on today's show, we're going to end the week off with a bang. I'm really excited because, believe it or not, this is the first time we're actually going to have this brand on Connected. I've been waiting for this one because it's a brand that has such an incredible following. It's got such pedigree and heritage within the industry, so many innovations. And today we get to learn not only about the brand, but a little bit about its history, how it's set up, because a lot of you probably have questions about that, and we have the right person to kind of give us all that information. And if we're lucky, I'll be able to squeeze a little bit of info out of them and see if we can get some insight as to where the brand is headed in the future. But before we do that, we of course have to bring in the distributor, the exclusive distributor for JL Audio, on with us. And again, my colleague and good friend, Mr. Dave Singh, will be joining us from Gemsen. What's going on, Dave?
Ben, good to see you again.
Is it me, or we're kind of getting comfortable now? Like you and I, we spent a lot of time on this little screen together.
I think now that I know what you have for breakfast and lunch, we can maybe
start buying the screen. No, JL Audio today, Dave. I've been bugging you a long time for this one, and because we get a lot of feedback from it, there's a big following about it. We share a lot of the content. There's some great builds in Canada, especially with the brand. So obviously, kudos to Gemsen for the distribution of the brand, but also the following. It's been a long time that partnership has been there, hasn't it?
Indeed. I mean, the JL Audio relationship existed before I started at Gemsen, which is 26 years.
Was that like the 70s?
Yeah, something like that. So I've been at Gemsen for 26 years, and prior to that, JL Audio was part of our team. So we've been JL Audio's partner and exclusive. Actually, we were their first distributor ever, and we're their first 100 dealers. So we're actually dealer number 88.
That is incredible. Wow.
Yeah. So, the relationship goes back a very long time. There's obviously a lot of friendships that have been formed over the years. We're extremely close and tight with everybody, their ownership and management and everything like that. We're more than just, partners. We're friends at the end of the day. And it allows us to do things, sometimes make hard decisions and have hard conversations, but knowing that it's in the best interest of our customers and our businesses. So, it's great to work with a company such as JL Audio and be able to work in that sort of environment.
That's great to hear. And, towards the end of the show, we do have a dealer that will be coming on to maybe give us a little bit of that testimony on that first-person experience with the brand and with Gemsen and hear what they have to say. But before we do that, I wanted to note that although this may be JL's first appearance on Connected, we have, of course, spent a lot of time with JL, both on CMA Live as well as on CMA Industry Week. So I've had the pleasure and opportunity to have several, individuals from JL join us. But this particular person is his first appearance, and I can't be more excited than to bring on, I think anybody who's a JL dealer knows who this guy is. Legendary trainer, might I say? Yeah, I'll say that. His name is Steve Turrisi, and he's joining us from JL Audio. Welcome to the show.
Great. Thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me. And hey, Dave, how are you?
Good to see you.
I guess I owe you 20 or something for that intro there, Ben. Thank you.
Okay, I take e-transfers even from the U.S. We can make that up.
We have that funny green paper that you all make fun of.
It's stinky and it's good. I like it. But anyways, it's all good. Hey, Steve, like I said, honestly, seriously, thank you for taking the time with us today. We've been really blessed with having some great guests on, especially from JL. And, you're no exception. You have a wealth of knowledge. You've been with the brand for so long. And I know that a lot of the dealers watching today obviously recognize who you are.
That's nice. Thank you. I do appreciate that. And listening to Dave kind of reminisce about our history together, I actually found some training documents not too long ago from some sessions that I was a part of in 1996, and Gemsen was a part of that session. So it was kind of neat to hear some of that, and remembering all of those historic days back of old. So
well, I'm going to find these pictures, but I heard stories of Dave, 17 years old in high school, being a big JL Audio guy, and he's sweeping the floor, doing anything he could to get into that Gemsen thing, and look at him now, he's all grown up.
Well, we're older. I don't know if we're grown up or not.
No, that's true. Steve was one of the very first people I actually met at JL Audio when we started with the company. Both him and I were in tech support capacities, and although Steve's title is trainer, he is an integral part of that company, and probably doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Actively involved with a lot of product development, above and beyond, what I ever imagined. I'm sure there's a lot of secrets that we could probably pry out of Steve of some upcoming, things.
Sorry, the audio's bad, Dave. I can't hear you.
We got a special guy on today. I'm so excited to have Steve.
So, needless to say, we have the right guy to talk about what we want to talk about today. Seeing that this is really officially JL's first time, I wanted to take this opportunity to get to know JL, get to know the story, where it began and all that stuff. And then, of course, we're transitioning to what's happening now. But I think it's important that we give that opportunity to JL to talk to us about, how it all began. How did it all start, Steve?
Yeah, wow. It's interesting that Dave brings up, the fact that I do wear a number of different hats here. If you wanted to summarize what JL Audio is, it's a company of people that wear lots of different hats. And back in the very early days, we actually started off in this tiny little warehouse back in the back streets of Miramar. We're still in Miramar now, but it's a very different setup than it used to be. And we would just, kind of pull from whoever. And we have an excellent image now. She is a woman that doesn't get enough credit. That's Maria Proni. That's Lucio, the L from JL Audio. That's his wife. And she basically was the backbone of the company. And what she's sitting there is a fabricated desk that Lucio and the team built. That was what we called the downstairs. And there was no upstairs. It was a ladder with a loft that we had created to hold some of the inventory that we had. And you could see boxes and everything else stacked up in there. What you can't see in that image is the map of the North America that we had little push pins in that would show where we had dealers and distribution. Gemsen was on there. And where we had targets and things of that nature to try to keep track of where our prospects were. So, it started very humbly in a very, very small way, but people wore different hats, and we did what we needed to do. And Lucio's a brilliant man, not only from the speaker design and audio aspect of things, but in terms of business. He really knows what needs to happen. And in those early days, he built a really great core group of people to help grow the company. Names like, Manville Smith that you all know. And Alan Wenzel was our first salesperson. He was a retailer from Southwest Florida who came on board, and he ultimately started our international division and got Gemsen on board. Guys like someone that doesn't get enough credit is a guy named Gary Martin, who I think we have a picture that we'll pull up in just a moment. A guy named Johnny, who builds so many different things, almost all the displays in the early days, including that desk that Maria was sitting at, he built. Because he builds everything. And a guy named Harry, who was once a sound-off competitor, he actually started our shipping department. He helped create our true shipping department as we started to grow. And Lou was smart enough to bring this nucleus of people that was really going to be the backbone of the company as we started to grow. Ultimately, go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just, I'm just looking I'm backstage. I can see the images here, so I have to bring this up. You're talking about these core people and building, this company from scratch, literally fabricating. What are we looking at here?
It's a great picture. That's Lucio. We're working with the handheld router, building one of the demo cars that really was foundational for launching JL Audio as a brand. Down here in South Florida, we would work for R&D. We worked with local retailers that we gained access to cars and things like that, where we would try different things. But when the time came for us to try to hit that spotlight a little bit more, Lucio, as you see here, and his team started building demo cars that we were going to bring onto the sound-off scene. Cars like the one I mentioned from Harry Lord and a number of other ones, including this one, I believe, was for Tommy Clark's Rocket Science van. Many people back in the day may remember that hit one of the magazines in 1989, December of 1989. It hit the magazines, and it kind of propelled JL Audio to the forefront of, I think, the competition scene for sure. But it's a great image that you shared, Ben, because that shows that Lucio is hands-on. And as it was then, it is today. And he's remains actually involved in everything that we do. If it's got the logo on it, he had something to do with it.
I got to give a shout out to your marketing manager, Brian Fisher. We worked hard and dug deep to get some of these images for this show.
Yes, you did.
It's paying
I haven't
off.
seen it in a while.
And there's a lot more. Like I think you already mentioned some of these gentlemen, but let's go ahead and bring this one up. Look at that.
This is great. So the third head in from the left side of the screen, that's Gary Martin. You recognize Maria from the previous picture with Lucha right behind her. Then they have Tim Luglin, and then the guy in the center with the rockin' mustache there, that's Harry Lord. Seated in front of him is Tommy Clark. The guy with the beard in the back with the glasses, that's Manville. He probably hates that we're showing this picture.
That's Manville, is it?
Yeah, that is Manville.
Nice.
And then Adolfo there is in the foreground. Behind him over his left shoulder, that's Alan Wenzel, again with the rockin' mustache. I guess the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, there was a pattern there. So what I love about this is every single one of those names that I mentioned, Gary and Lucio, Maria, Harry, Manville, Alan, they're all still here. They're all part of the business, and that core group of people, they don't go anywhere. If I go back to that image real quick for just a little side note. Darn, he's not in that picture. There's let's come on back. There's a gentleman named Ariel who was once one of our not competitors competing against, but he was a sound off competitor that we built a vehicle together with him. He went on, and he's now part of CV Marine. So they make boats, and guess what they use? So even the few people that managed to escape the clutches of JL Audio still
no
remain
real
in contact with us.
There is no real escape.
You don't get very far.
You don't get very far. Very, very cool. So, I mean, such a rich history. Really fun to see that, because it just goes to show that it's the same people that started, and they're still passionate about it today, and they're all part of it. But let's talk about footprints for a second, because obviously JL has grown by leaps and bounds, and I definitely want to take a portion of the show to lay it out for everybody to understand, when we're talking about JL, what is the footprint and how is it going?
So as a lead into that, one of the things that we needed to do as a company, we couldn't rely on that small group of people. We needed to expand. And part of that expansion included a whole new group of engineers. Guys like Dwayne Spanbrook and Brett Haynes came on board. And we had Andy Sheehy from marketing, and Frank Gonzalez took over our shipping. He's right behind me now. And a guy named Andy Oxenhorn came in as our company president. And the first thing he did, he looked around at that tiny warehouse and said, this has got to change. We are not going to get where we want to go using this. So he got us our new facility here in Miramar. And if you pull that up, it's a 200,000 square foot building that's next door to me. We've actually expanded from that. That building is our main facility where our manufacturing and engineering is being done in a separate facility next door to that with shipping behind me. And of course, this is our marketing and training center. But that's not it. We've expanded into other categories. And as we continue to grow that nucleus of people, we started bringing in other people. A name that most of you guys should know, a guy named Jeff Schoon, comes with a wealth of background, came in and he set up our facility out west in Phoenix. And he brought in people like Daryl Chapman, who set up a lot of our first production lines for our amplifiers. B-Mac and Dave, they were the ones that designed our first amplifiers. And a guy named George Babers, who actually runs our shipping out of our Phoenix facility, which I think we have an image of that. That's 55,000 additional square feet of engineering, service, and shipping for our West Coast operations. And I'm looking to see, the lights are on downstairs. That's what the yellow is there. That facility has really helped us in a number of ways. First of all, for whatever reason, electrical engineers do not want to leave the desert of Arizona. So many of them live there, we can't get them to move. So we leave them there, and we have this wonderful facility. And as we continue to grow beyond that, over the past decade or so, we started getting involved in like DSP. And part of that effort, we got a guy named Stephen Lee, Dr. Stephen Lee, who is now I believe his title is Senior Vice President of Electronics or something along those lines. Again, the title thing is something that's very difficult to pin down here. But he got together with the guys, Ben and Jerry, the Ice Cream Boys, as we call them, as part of our DSP team. We got a guy named Ryan that does a lot of our QA, a guy named Nick that's doing a lot of developments for some new stuff that we're working on, and a guy named Jeff Thomas who's here in this building. And that expansion, they built a facility up in Portland, which you're looking at now, that adds another 4,500 square feet of engineering for our DSP division. So there's a lot of work that's being done out of that many of you have seen in our VXI and MVI amplifiers, our Fix and our Tweak product, all came from the brains that came out of that Portland office. So what's funny about that office, we started in one little tiny room where we had two guys on the bottom floor. just two guys in a tiny little office, and we started putting more and more people in there. And finally, they're literally sharing a desk, and when they were on camera, you could see the shoulder of the guy sitting next to him because there was no room. So they took over like the entire top floor of that building, and it's all ours now. Lots of good engineering space for them to do what they need to do. There's some other images we'll show in a little while of that.
So I mean, that's a lot of pieces to break down. I guess we can start with, so engineering. That's a big question that comes up often. Is there engineering done in-house? Or is it offshore? Like, what is the story with JL and engineering?
Everything that we come to market with has its brain here at JL Audio as a proper. So again, Luccio's the top. It's got his name on it. So he literally will guide us and his team of engineers towards a goal that we all agree on. What you're looking at here, that's Jerry, and he's working on our Tune software and doing some testing for. That's a prototype of, I think that's a VXI amplifier on the bench there. There's definitely one on the right. I'm not sure what's in the center there, but Jerry is a brilliant DSP engineer. He speaks binary. It's pretty scary. He's brilliant, and like I said, everything that we develop comes from the minds of our engineering team, and it's guided every step of the way. Daryl, the name I mentioned before, he's very particular about speccing out every single part that we build for. He has amazing documentation that keeps us in order and keeps our assembly the way we want it. So all of that's coming from within.
So the engineering that takes place in Portland.
All three locations. So DSP functionality is guided out of the Portland office. Electronics in general are guided out of the Phoenix office. So those two divisions are working very, very closely together. And of course, working very tightly with our team here in Florida. A lot of transducer engineering, speakers, and Marine, C7, all the subwoofers are developed by the team here in Florida. But there are other products. Specifically, you can imagine our home audio product where it's a powered subwoofer, and it's got electronics in it, so Phoenix, and it's got some DSP in it, so Portland, and it's got a woofer in it, so Florida, and the cohabitation, so to speak, of them all working together. It's been a challenge for us to overcome as we've been split apart, but we've gotten quite good at it over the years. And looking forward to being able to get together in this room again, where we set up a huge table and we get everyone together and we brainstorm about that next wave of great ideas that we'll bring to market. But that's later.
You bring up a good point, and I'm just going to segue real quick. As much as I love doing these connecteds and these shows, there comes a time that I want to hang out with Dave, who I've spent 100 hours on the screen with, and maybe have a beer. Is that so wrong? No, it's not.
No, not at all.
It's coming. All right,
it is coming. It is definitely coming.
I'm trying to break down this huge 10,000-pound gorilla that is JL Audio. So we're talking engineering throughout different building depending on what department. Great.
Correct.
What about service?
So we do have two service centers that we work on things. In Phoenix, we do the electronic repair. So any amplifier that leaves our facility, any DSP that leaves our facility that needs service, those can come back to our Phoenix location. I know Dave and Gemsen handle some of this stuff and gets it back to us as needed. But a lot of that service is being done in our facility there. They designed it, they know how to fix it, and we do track cradle to grave. So from the day that the product is built, we keep track of everything that happens to that product up until the point where we have to pull it out of circulation, which doesn't happen very often. But we have tracking of every single failure mode that we see on every single product. And what Daryl likes to look at is he looks at the data as it comes in, and he looks at the chart, and he looks at he calls them spikes. When an issue spikes up above the noise, he'll get a little hammer and he'll start working down on it. So let's just say, I don't know, there's a connector issue or something like that where we're seeing a lot of returns for one problem. He'll find that problem because it peaks up above the noise, and he'll work with the engineers to find a way to pushing it down so we don't have that problem anymore. But hey, parts break, things happen, we service them there, and we keep track of it so we can make a better product in the future. Same thing with woofers and component speakers of the like. We do all of that here. In fact, in the earliest days of JL Audio, we weren't building Prime here on our facility. We just didn't have the room. You saw the picture where Maria was, where we're going to do production. So we had product built for us, and when it failed, we would dissect it. We would tear it down and rebuild it. So we had the small recon center that we were building things and identifying failure modes, and all of that drove product development. In fact, some of the earliest patents that our company received was a direct result of learning what was failing the most in those products that we were servicing. So to this day, we still do all that service on premises. We do dissect, we document, we take photos, and we keep data on everything. And all of that is driven back into engineering. And as they start seeing that little spike come up, they'll find an engineering project to work on pushing it back down. Technologies like the VRC, with the vented reinforcement collar, vented to cool it, reinforcement to keep it together. That was direct result of our service department dissecting speakers and identifying what was failing. And the engineers, we'll never make a speaker that you can't destroy. That's not a challenge either. So don't go out there and try to break them. There's always something that'll cause a failure. What we're trying to do is push that failure mode out as far as possible, so you get to enjoy the product much, much longer than maybe you wouldn't have.
So this process that you're describing, Steve, I had Manville was also quite passionate about it as well. He felt that this is something that really separates JL from a lot of the other brands out there. And I'm going to bring this back to Dave. Have you seen the direct result of this type of attention to detail reflect in brand confidence through your customers?
Oh, 100%. One thing JL Audio is known for is being meticulous and not cutting corners. And they are definitely not a company that is going to rush to market for the sake of putting a product out there just because there's an opportunity. The end result is always catastrophic when you try to do something like that. So by being meticulous, we can ensure that we're always getting top quality products. And, I can't commend JL Audio enough for their infrastructure that Steve was describing, because there's oftentimes, where we start to see a situation happen. We have a different, environment up here. Things are colder, yeah, and materials.
Yes, Steve, much colder. We heard.
Don't rub it in. But occasionally, many, many, many moons ago, I remember at the W1 series, this is going back 20 years ago. There used to be something that was used in an adhesive, and it was causing an issue, and it only happened up here in Canada. So
I remember that.
With these systems that are in place, you can identify when you start to see these problems now worldwide. Wait a minute, there's something to this. How do we address that? How do we attack it? And the beauty of how JL Audio is configured, especially when you're doing your own speaker manufacturing in-house, is engineers can walk out of their offices, go to the assembly lines, and start to work on a solution or figure out some sort of way of dealing with it, as opposed to picking up the phone, jumping on a plane, going to a vendor overseas. And we use vendors overseas, but Steve will talk about the speaker manufacturing and why they do the stuff that they do in-house as opposed to outside. There's just nothing that beats being able to deal with the problems on your own, right?
And on that note, maybe this is a great segue, Steve, to talk about what are the on-site capabilities? What is the footprint when it comes to manufacturing, in-house?
So it is a good segue, and Dave kind of alluded to building an infrastructure. And as I kind of mentioned, people are our infrastructure. And in the earliest days, the people that we kind of mentioned, some of those names, and there's many, many more, I can't list them all, but those people really helped guide a lot of that early infrastructure. And a lot of the memories that we have, Dave, are from our memories of, we remember these things. And I remember exactly what you were talking about. But as things start to grow, it wouldn't be a financially prudent thing for us to flip a switch and suddenly be a world-class manufacturing facility. We couldn't do that. Certainly not without the infrastructure of people that we have. So over the years, we have built a manufacturing facility that is world-class and state-of-the-art in many ways. In addition to being able to build almost every prime driver here on premises, from W6 to W7, all the home audio subwoofers, everything from TW1, TW3, TW5, all of those drivers are made here on site. We also have an absolutely amazing machine shop that has expanded recently, and we have the ability to build all the little parts necessary to build the speakers that we build here. So when it comes to actually manufacturing, we are making our majority of our wooden enclosures are done on premises, and I think we have an image of some of that. Yep. So you can see our team working there very diligently. We have several different styles of manufacturing. This is sort of a derivative of assembly line and cell manufacturing, where a small group of people will share a product as they go through the preparation of it. We're also doing, our stealth box, our fiberglass manufacturing is done here at this Florida facility. You can see the gentleman there is working on installing the terminal. You can see the fiberglass molded enclosure there that's carpeted. All of that is done on site. What you can't see is behind him is a rack of woofers, and the woofers that are made here would then go into that enclosure. And then, of course, we build all the drivers like C7. I think we have a shot of some of the C7 work being done. So that what I love about this image is it shows a lot of different things going on. Not only are we working on one of the mid-range, that's the 3.5-inch mid-range that we offer in the C7 line, but the fixture that it's being worked on, it was also built here. Now, the tubular aluminum, I said that for you guys, aluminum, that is cut to size based on our needs, but all of those needs have been spec'd by our team here. And as Dave mentioned, our engineers come out and work with the team to make this easier for us to build a very high quality product very repeatably. And something that Manville has actually talked about, I think in the past, is we have the ability of scale. So there are some very high-end manufacturers that have very limited numbers of products that they can sell. But what Lucio and the team have built here is the ability to take a high-quality product and make a lot of them with consistent results. That is not easy. And a lot of what we've done comes from that nucleus of people and the ability to do everything on site. So here you see an image of us assembling our home audio products and all the stuff that you see there again. The scissor lift, of course, not so much, but all the structure where the monitors are, everything else has been laid out specifically for us to build those. If you look carefully in the background, there's a gentleman named Curtis who's got the JL logo on his back. In front of him is one of our in-walls. That's an in-wall subwoofer system, and that's the testing area. Everything from assembly to testing is being done here, and all the fixtures, everything, we control all of that. And again, the engineers come in and help refine that process to make sure that we're creating the same product over and over again without variation, within reason. So here's another shot of a home audio driver being assembled. This is the 8-inch driver that goes into the in-wall. I have some hiding behind this thing behind me, but that's you can see that the hand soldering being done on the lead wires for that particular product. We do have a healthy mix of human touch and automation to make the products that we do. Some things are incredibly tedious, like some of the work that we do on the TW5 that the first few we did by hand, and they said, please get us a robot or something. And we did. We scaled up, and we're always refining our assembly lines to be better.
I have an image here. So I guess even the marine product, because we didn't talk much about the marine side. We talked about, you mentioned about the home product, the C7 line of speakers, subwoofers, enclosures, but the marine product as well.
Marine has become a significant part of our business, and for the foreseeable future will remain that way. And I think we make a really good product. The M3 and M6 stuff that we make here is tremendous. And this is one of several assembly lines that we have here in our facility that we are making these. We do have different fixtures for each one of the different drivers. And in the very center of this image, you'll see the woman, she's working with a particular driver. And you may be able to see that there's like a carousel that's holding the speaker. The aluminum that's used there is actually machined in our on-site machine shop. In the foreground, you'll see a little bit blurry, but there's little blue things that kind of look like the pieces for the game. Sorry. Those are actually weights that we create here that hold weight evenly across the glue joints to make sure that we don't have any separation. And again, each one of those different workstations has been designed by our team of engineers, and any robotics that we use are being programmed by our team of people here on premises as well. So Lucio has said for many, many years that he'll make everything here if he can feasibly do that. And over the years, we have steadily worked towards achieving that goal. We keep expanding and expanding. And it's a little bit of a battle that we have. Where do we put these people? Where do we put the parts? Where do we put production? And we're always fighting for this space, which is why I'm in a separate building and all the production is done over there now.
I mean, I am very impressed by everything I've seen right there. When you say, manufactured on site, I mean, you just mentioned that the basket is machined on site. This is not a basket that you ordered and then that you're assembling.
Well, this is for prototypes.
So, go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just going to say the baskets that they're machining on site is for part of the prototyping stage, right. And then once they figure that out, then they go. Then they do it, yeah. But the point is, it's done in house. The engineering, the whole thing, model 0000 is made in house.
Absolutely, and that's
pretty cool.
It's almost by necessity, Ben, because in the early days when we were small and didn't really have any finances behind us to kind of do some of the things that we wanted to. In fact, the entire W7 product, we couldn't do our own machining. So we would come up with a design for a basket or a top plate or a back plate or whatever it may be, and we needed to build a prototype using that. So we send the design to a shop to have it machined, and we would wait in a queue for 2, 3, 4 months, and then we get the part in. And if it was right, great, we build and go. But if it's not, we wait for the next version. And Lou was like, nah, we got to stop this. So he invested in the machine shop to get parts faster so we could prototype faster. And just a little bit of legacy real quick, and Dave may remember this. We waited forever for the W7 to finally ship. The following year, we came out with a new W6. It was literally just a year later because we had refined the process and we were able to prototype a lot faster. So instead of waiting 7 years for a new product, we waited 13 months for a new product, wow, which was unheard of. It was mind-blowing that we could actually do that. That was the investment that Lucio was making in our future and building this infrastructure, not only just of the people, but in all the parts and the abilities to do as much on-premises as we possibly can. But we didn't want to just flip a switch and do everything, because that could financially collapse the company, spend all that money, and then what happens if, I don't know, a pandemic hits or something and the business hiccups? Well, suddenly you have this huge investment and there's no business. So we did this steadily over time. Lucio has this vision. It's like a mosaic, kind of, a mosaic of images. And every so often he'll grab us by the back of the head and pull us back and to get a really good picture of where he wants us to go. So do you see that image? Do you see that future for us? And we all buy in. Oh my God, we want that. We want that right now. He's like, all right, go do that for us. And he lets the team take over, and we build this infrastructure, and you get these parts, we get these machines, we get this process, we get these engineers, and we start making some really great things. And I think the products that we're offering now really show the past 20 or 30 years of his effort and his vision that we are now taking and bringing towards the future as we go forward.
I couldn't end this part of our conversation without saving what I think the coolest for last. Obviously, JL renowned for their subwoofers.
Yes.
That's what it is. Yes. Right there, man. There it is.
It's great. And I love this image. And again, mostly because it's an on-premises built product. And needless to say that the labor component of building here is quite significant. We have a really talented team of people that adds a significant cost to the product. What you're looking at here is the assembly of our TW1. Now, if you know our line, even in the passing sense, as the numbers get bigger, the price also gets bigger, but the performance scales up. To be able to build a TW1 on site shows the commitment that we've had over the years, and the payoff is happening now. We're starting to do this on site. 10 years ago, we couldn't have done this on site, but now we can. The infrastructure is strong enough. We have enough investment in the buildings and the business that we can start making entry level, so to speak, or less expensive product on premises. And this is a great example here. Is again a TW1, and you can see so much going on in this image. The hand touch that's going on. We have a laser for alignment. We have an infrastructure that is truly state of the art, world class, that we can build on site right here. And one thing that I've missed over the past year is being able to walk up and down our production lines, talking with the people that make JL Audio who we are, the great products that we offer, and interfacing with them and learning about the little details. So I have a lot of learning to do now that I'm back in the office on a regular basis, to head back over there, learn the names and faces again, see the procedures that are in place and all the changes that we've made over the past 12 months. We've sort of taken advantage of the lack of tours, lack of people coming in to really reskin the whole facility. And it's Dave, I'll tell you, since it's been a while, it's unrecognizable now. It's the machine shop has moved, and it's more than double the size, and R&D is at a different part of the building because we needed more room for production lines. It's been great. It's and I'm really excited. Our future, if we segue into that at this point, but our future looks really good. We've I'm going to get emotional here, but we've built an incredible team. We have this incredible network of distributors like, Gemsen. We have new warehousing facilities that have been set up in Asia and Europe to help improve our service for our customers over there. And internally, we're really expanding our services department, so we'll be able to process any service issues that we may have on premises. Our support, both in dealer support, customer support, and technical support, we will be expanding. Our training, we're hoping to expand as well. There's a lot of things that we're building to make our dealers and customers feel better about our product and learn more about those products and get what they need faster. So that's the next phase for us, is improving that backbone and that infrastructure for getting service to our partners out there in the field. That's something we've invested heavily in, and you'll see the benefits as we go forward. Obviously...
Well, hold on. Before you go too far, I want to comment on two things. Number one, you have me super excited. Dave, when are we going to Florida? That's number one.
Yes.
I want to visit this place. And number two, talk to us about. I know maybe you're about to. Maybe I'm jumping the gun on this, but like we're talking, you segued into where we're headed, where we're going, where JL is, sees its future. A lot of the recent stuff that JL's been coming out with is application based.
Yes,
is that something that we're going to see more of?
Well, I would say that for our entire history, our product has been application based. I'm just going to, I'll further answer your question, but I look at stealth boxes as the epitome of that. We often get questions, weird ones sometimes. Does the Chevy one work in the Ford? You could do whatever you'd like. It's not designed for that. It's truly designed for one application. Now, we've had people take like a Chevy box and put it into a Ford and make it work, and hey, more power to you. But we know what it's supposed to do in a given application. So from our car audio subwoofers that we have a range of enclosures that we'll recommend. Amplifiers, we have a range of applications that we'll recommend. Home audio, we have in-wall and we have floor mounted. We have a bunch of different products that are very specific for those applications. That will continue. That's who we are. It's more than just a woofer. It's more than just a component speaker. We've designed it for a specific application. Our engineers know that application and they work with it from the earliest days of Lucho literally making the enclosures themselves and doing that test in vehicles and in homes for the home audio stuff. That will continue. That's never going to change. That's who we are. We are an applications-based company with a huge engineering team and a little bit of support that we can offer. And we'll be expanding on that to try to keep up with some of those incredible ideas that the engineers are bringing to market. So yeah, you'll see a lot more. More and more is going to be made here. I can assure you that as we can expand on that, you'll see more of that. And, the future looks good. We're even getting into some new categories in the not too distant future. You'll see some exciting new stuff in an area that we've never actually dabbled in. So yeah.
We're not going to say what area are you?
What was that?
You're just going to
the audio. There's a breakup here. But,
because I mean, you guys are already doing power sports. You're doing marine. You've gone into home. You do high end, low end, DSP.
You guys are stuttering. I can't hear you, Ben.
If I could say something, I gotta say, we're mentioning casually that we do marine and home. JL Audio deserves so much more recognition because, when they got into marine, they didn't take an existing car audio product and just painted it white and say, hey, we need to get into this marine market. It seems like it's getting hot. They reinvented that category to the point where, they were able to come up with new sizes that didn't exist, like a 7.7, an 8.8. Like those were against the grain type of things where the industry has now followed. They are leaders in the marine market. They got into home. Right? Remember, this is a car audio company that started in subwoofers, okay? I remember being at CEDIA home audio shows when JL Audio was first presenting there, and, people were looking at the JL Audio home subwoofers with their noses up in the air because they're like, JL Audio, a car audio company, like, what do they know about hi-fi? And let me tell you, years later, JL Audio home products are now considered the reference in hi-fi.
Dude, I just saw a post that Gemsen did on Facebook on home, and the guy's running like Macintosh amps and like these crazy speakers. And guess what he has right there? A JL Audio sub.
So as
tell me about that, Dave. If I can, I'll jump in on some of that CEDIA stuff that you mentioned. One thing that I think really shows who we are as a company was those first events that we did for home audio launch at CEDIA. When we did the demonstration, we built a room on the floor. Literally, we built a steel reinforced room with a second story, and it was this incredible. It's a brick building type thing. Keep it PG. Yeah. And a lot of people that came in to listen to the demo, they made comments about the tracks that we chose to play. Because car audio, that's the boom sizzle people, right? They don't know audio. Mm-hmm. So the first tracks that we would play would be piano. And real men play piano because try to get those overtones to sound good. It ain't easy. So we would show detail stuff that wasn't even technically our stuff. We had the harmonic content there, but we would show that. And then we'd show something, maybe a female vocalist. We weren't just showing the subwoofer, which is the product that we were launching. And only towards the end of the demonstration did we play a movie with an explosion and an audio track with a really solid bass line. That wasn't the goal. The goal was to show that we are serious about audio, and that's who we are, period. Yes, these are powered subwoofers, but as we have grown in that category, you've seen more and more from us in terms of the detail and resolution of what we offer for applications.
Couldn't have said that better myself, and I want to show off here. Transflective LED technology. That's
yes. So
that's my show off moment.
So, David kind of mentioned our entry into the marine category, and that goes back, I think it's 12 or maybe 15 years. At the time has gone by pretty quickly. And when we were given the opportunity to truly get into it, it was not a new concept, not by any stretch. We are in South Florida, and it is the boating capital of the world from what we're told. It's either Florida or Michigan, believe it or not. But, we have a lot of boats down here. We have lots of opportunity, but marine is different. The materials are different. The performance is different. The goals are different. And we were not ready to focus on that in the early days because we were kind of busy with the whole car stuff, right? So what we had been doing, which most people didn't realize, when people would come and see us, on the roof of the building, we would put parts and secure them to the roof of the building. You want to test UV? Just go outside for a couple hours. You got lots of UV out there. Heat, you got it out there. Moisture, we got it out there. So we were testing materials and adhesives long before we got into the category, way before. And then, of course, the voicing is different and all that other stuff. And Dave, I got to make one minor correction. When JL Audio started in the mid-'70s, it wasn't car audio. It was actually Pro Sound and Home that they were making products for, like DJs and things of that nature, and sound reinforcement before we ever really got into car. That came a little bit later. So our roots are in live venues, big venues. So it's fun.
Well, luckily, I'm not that old to remember that. So.
Fortunately, neither am I.
No,
but, there's lots of pictures around the building that remind me of that, though.
Gentlemen, that's been an awesome session for the last 40 minutes or so. I promised our audience that towards the end of this segment that we'd bring in some guests to kind of get their perspective on all things JL, and I'm sure who I'm about to bring on is no stranger to you, Steve, JL Audio, and of course for Gemsen. And Gems, when I reached out to Dave, I said, Dave, give me a list of a couple good JL dealers that we can go reach out to. And when I saw this guy's name, I said, let's just get this over with first. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's obviously a character, and everybody, and brings a lot to the table. And I am very curious to see what he has to say. And this is special because this particular business, Sounds Good Auto, out of BC, has 2 locations. And there's a reason for that we're going to bring in. For that reason, we're going to bring in 2 guests. So first, we're going to bring on head honcho himself, Mr. Keith Mccumber. What's going on,
Hello
Keith?
There.
Good morning in BC. Good morning.
Welcome to Vancouver area.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking the time with us today, Keith.
No, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Are we going to bring in your colleague as well?
Yes.
His name is Ruben Rivera. And so wait, let's set the stage. Where are you right now?
I'm in Coquitlam.
You're in the Coquitlam location.
Coquitlam?
Coquitlam, yes.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And now we're going to go to Ruben, who's at your
Burnaby location.
Mr. Ruben, welcome to the show.
Hi guys, how are you?
What's going on, buddy?
All right, so let's make this efficient because obviously these guys are on work time. The store is open, as you can see. Listen, I guess I will start with Keith. Keith, let's take the first minute here. Tell us about Sounds Good. Where are you? How long have you been in business? What are you guys all about? Where are your locations?
Okay, so we started off in 2005 in Coquitlam. My competitor, Jamie at Soundworks, had JL Audio, and I bought that company in 2012. And with it came JL Audio and Ruben and a bunch of really cool stuff. And we've really, really grown from there. It's been a lot of fun. Met a lot of really cool people along the way, like Steve and Dave and you.
Cool. So Ruben, what would you say? With the boss on here, no pressure. What would you say Sounds Good is known for as far as your specialty? What do you guys specialize in?
I think we specialize in making people smile when they get their car systems out.
I agree.
Right? Reputation and service.
Okay. I'm going to say that the reputation industry says you guys sell some pretty awesome stuff. You're known for impeccable service and high-end gear that puts, like you said, smile on people's faces. Because right here, you can see behind Keith, he's got a plethora of the best goodies there are in the business. And that's what they're known for. So, Keith, how long exactly now have you been a JL Audio dealer?
Since 2012. That's when I bought
2012.
the Soundworks. Yeah.
That's when you bought the Soundworks. Okay. So, share with us some of the reasons why you support JL Audio and why are you so passionate? Because I know you're pretty passionate about this brand. I'm going to give Ruben that question as well, but I'll start with you, Keith.
Okay. Well, initially I was skeptical. I wasn't sure if I could sell it properly because my competitor did a really good job in it, but I I'd been dealing with some other products at the time, and never really had the pleasure of playing with it. So once I cracked it open and started playing with it, I was really impressed. So Sounds Good was founded on something called sound quality, and JL has that. Not only do they have the sound quality, but they have the gumption to back it up with any kind of warranty issues, any kind of specialty thing. I'll call Dave and I'll say, hey, Dave, we're having this sale. Can you do something special for us? And they will do something special for us. The whole JL family does it that way. And that's what really Sounds Good is about that family kind of atmosphere.
Okay.
And so why wouldn't we sell JL Audio?
So that's coming from the owner. I'd like to hear from the sales manager, Ruben. What would be some of your reasons why you support on the sales floor? You know, customers coming in, they're like, Ruben, I trust you, man. What do I need for my whip? Why do you say JL?
I stick to JL because of the service. I've owned it when I was a kid. I've been selling it for over 20 years. I've been lucky enough to meet Steve and Dave, and service. If something goes wrong, I tell my customer, I have your back, because I know JL Audio has my back. So we put some big ass systems in the cars, and if something goes wrong, I know I don't have to worry about it. It's gonna last for 10 years or a year, but they'll take care of it and they'll cover me. That's why I sell it. I have a backing, and it's built like a brick.
Brian, that must be music to you. Steve, that must be music to yours. I'd like to have you comment on what you're hearing here from your dealer.
It feels good to hear them acknowledge some of the things that the team has been able to do. You know, we try to make the product so you can't break it, so that Ruben can, you know, sell it with confidence. One thing that we've said a lot over the years is, you know, when a retailer like Sounds Good Auto is putting their reputation in our hands, we take that very serious. You know, their reputation is making those smiles that Ruben talked about. And if they choose to use our product, that's the highest compliment that anyone could pay to us. And our engineers and our entire team here, we take that really serious, and we don't want to let you guys down. So thank you. You know, sell all you want. We'll make more. You know,
there's more where that came from. Keith, I need to pick your brain here as a specialty retailer. What kind of recommendations do you have for other dealers from a merchandising standpoint? You know, JL, you know, you have the speakers, you got the amps, you got the boxes, you got the marine. What is your strategy when it comes to the merchandising side of things?
Well, we like to be able to show it off so people could come in and push buttons. Of course, they got to wear a condom on their finger these days to touch things, but you know what? They can come in and they can actually test it out for themselves. We don't have to be the slimy salespeople that said, this is the best and this is what you have to buy. We have all this stuff because we want them to play with it and compare it to other name brands and other products we have in the store. And 9 times out of 10, they buy the JL stuff.
So you have all the enclosures, right? I see that. Obviously, you have a pile of enclosures there, but do you carry, like, do you show off all the series, like all the different C-level speakers, and like, what is your strategy there?
Not the C1s, because they, when people come in for speakers, we just give them the C1s. That's just the natural go-to. But when they want to hear something to compare to, when they're looking for a better quality something, then we bring on the C7s, we still have C5s, C3s, C2s, all on the board and in both stores.
Now, Ruben, last question I have for you. If you're going to recommend a starting point for a dealer looking at this and say, yeah, you know what, those guys sound like they know what they're talking about. I think I might want to become a JL dealer. What kind of product line would you recommend to them to start with?
The C2. The C2 is phenomenal in my mind. We can make it rock, play off spec power, amp power, reliable, smooth, silky. I've done multiple jobs, including yesterday. I was so excited after our meeting. I sold 2 massive jobs, and it only entails a pair of C2 fronts, C2 backs, a ton of labor, and a VXI amp, and it sounds phenomenal.
So, okay, so for speakers, you're saying C2 is a go-to. What about amplification?
To start off with, the RD. The RD is phenomenal in my mind. I missed the slashes. Steve, I missed the slashes, Steve.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. That the RD and the C2 is my starting point. It sounds phenomenal. It lasts forever. It's great. But as Dave knows too, I mean, C7s came out and I was like, Dave, load me up. I need a ton of C7s. And that's what we were selling for a long time.
And how about subs? Because people got to come into the store asking for JL subs, right?
Oh, I have a W7 high output box on my demo floor. And no joke, it's like when people come in, I tell them it's the world's best sub. I'm trying to get a picture of it, but we do it all the time, and all we play is just the W7.
That's right? It right there.
That's all we play, and from there, if you want the best, you got to play.
That's awesome. Keith, Ruben, I'm going to finish with you. Oh, wait, did you have a question, Dave?
No, I was going to ask Ruben, is that your car in the background?
It is my car in the background. I can switch the camera to show you the trunk.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna put you full screen. You got something to show us. Let's do it.
Camera setting.
Ruben, is such an awesome JL Audio supporter. He's
Oh,
Look at that.
what are we looking at, Ruben? Let's hear the gear list. What's going on here?
Right now, I have a couple of VXI amps. So the one on the left is my left channel. I'm running front mids and tweets, door speakers, and that's a 100/5 or 1000/5. I'm putting 500 watts to my door only. Then I got the VXI 1000 powering my 12W7, of course.
Nice.
And of course, I'm matching 1005 for the right side of my car.
Oh, you wanted the left-right active configuration.
Oh, yeah. And of course, the world's best sub. The
Sub.
Love it.
Running out of time, but Keith, I have to ask you a question. We have Steve on the line with us. We got Dave. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask JL as a dealer? And one of their best dealers at that.
When can I buy more stuff? Sorry.
Dave?
We've been hoarding it.
Actually, no, I don't want to waste it on that because I know what the problem is. Steve, I just want to say thank you for being such an excellent trainer over the years. You've really shown me what's possible for my team to grow and change and become the best possible.
Wow, thank you. That's very humbling. I'm such a mouthpiece for a great company with great people. So the fact that I can bring that to you and be effective at it, it's a very high compliment from an industry veteran like yourself. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And Dave,
Awesome.
Fireball later.
Ruben, do you have any questions for Steve?
Not questions, but as soon as this border's open, I'm coming back to the factory. I've been a few times, but I love the tours. And hopefully Dave will join me because we still haven't gone to the Bahamas for some reason. I don't know what happened.
They're right there.
We need to go and check it out.
Hey, Ruben, you need to stuff me into your luggage or something. I got to get on that trip.
So I got to say, 2022 is going to be epic because I think that's when our next get together is going to be. And woof, look out, fireball and chocolate cake for Dave.
There you go. No pressure. Gemsen needs a road trip to Florida. Okay. Ruben, Keith, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. I know you guys are busy putting in some awesome installs. Ruben, congrats on the whip, man. That ride looks awesome. Please send us some pictures. We'd love to feature that on CMA. There's no question about it. And congratulations on, of course, both your stores. And get back out there and sell some more systems. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Well, it seems that we have a gentleman there that is quite passionate about JL Audio.
Seems like it, huh?
I would say.
It.
He seems to like it a little bit. Listen, let's round this out. We've learned a lot about the brand. So thank you, Steve, for preparing that presentation and going through everything. I think it was much needed. You know what I mean? Dave, we have great opportunities to talk about specific products and stuff, but I think the time was required to kind of get that story because now moving forward, now we can get into the specifics and every great, innovation or new. You're not going to tell us any more than you did already, right, Steve? Okay, so when that happens and we have that information, because if JL is getting into a new category, I have to admit that is some groundbreaking news, and we're pretty excited because as we've seen, they don't do anything half, it's all in, and so I'm pretty excited to hear what category that is. Any remarks you have for Steve before we let him go, Dave?
Well, I'm going to mirror, Steve. I should say Keith and Ruben's sentiments. We enjoy dealing with the guys at JL Audio, guys like Steve. Our service, we got compliments in our service, which, is really because of, I see a lot of similarities with JL Audio and Gemsen. And over the years, they think much like we do, or we think like they do, whatever you want to say. But we're all like-minded. We're all about pleasing our customers, putting out quality service, quality products, of course, and really having fun at the end of the day. We're approachable, and we always want to be approachable. And if there's ever a concern, we welcome any dealer to pick up the phone and call us. And we're all trying to navigate through these challenging times and make things better. There's investments that we're making, investments that JL Audio is making to make things easier for the dealer. We all know that we're juggling huge, silliness with shortages and delays and all that type of stuff. So I'm sure I speak on behalf of JL Audio when I say we appreciate everybody being patient while, we deal with everything that we're dealing with. But, the great thing about JL Audio customers is, they they want the best, and they're okay with waiting, which has been phenomenal. So that's just a testimonial to how strong they feel towards having the best product out there. And if you want the best, you're okay with waiting for a little bit. But more importantly, I appreciate Steve coming on board, spending his time, because, man, there's not a better a spokesperson for JL Audio. He's so knowledgeable. He's so energetic. He was dropping all those names. I mean, some of those names probably didn't mean a lot to, unless you're an enthusiast. But let me tell you, those are key people in the industry. These are movers and shakers, and that's why Steve was so excited when he was talking about those names. This is why this company is where they are, and they'll continue to be bigger and better in the years to come. So appreciate it, Steve. Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you. And
On behalf of CMA, thank you for taking time, Steve, to be with us. I think that was awesome. But now you're in trouble because now I got your number.
Oh no!
yeah.
No, I really
we're gonna get you back.
I admire what you're doing up there, Ben. I think these sessions that you've put together are really fantastic, and I'm honored that I was able to be a part of it. And of course, JL Audio, we're supportive of everything that you guys are doing. So whatever we can do to be a part of what you're doing, we're happy to do that. And Dave, I think the last thing I'll share, and then I think I'm going to go. The reason why people, I think, gravitate towards our brand is because they realize that the people that are involved in it, they like this stuff as much as the customers and dealers do. This is not just stuff that we make a product and ship it out the door. We play with this stuff. I mean, if you could see what's over here, I got speakers all over the place. I got enclosures. I got tons of stuff. We play with this stuff all the time. We are enthusiasts too. We're not just a manufacturer. We're just like everybody else. We like great sounding audio, and we'll do whatever we can to make our products fulfill some of those needs. So
well said.
Thank you so much for having me on.
On that note, thank you so much, sir. We'll have you back soon. Take care.
Excellent. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
Well. That was an excellent episode. I really enjoyed that session, David.
Yeah, no, it was great, and it was nice to see Steve. Nice to see Ruben and Keith, of course. I mean, we're humbled by their compliments, and it's nice to hear that whatever we're doing is making them happy and making them want to support, Gemsen and JL Audio, of course. So, thank you. For allowing this opportunity, Ben. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that was amazing. And you know what? No joke. I can vouch for that. I've done the interview with Keith. We did his shop tour. Yeah, there's JL all up and down that place. So it's not like he staged it. This is it. And I don't think Keith's that kind of guy anyway. So anyhow, awesome. Thank you so much, Dave. I look forward to the next one. And I threw the numbers a million times up. I'm going to do it one last time. If you're looking for JL Audio products in Canada, I don't think it's a secret. I think everybody knows. Give Team Gemsen a call and see if they can hook you up with some JL. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care. There you have it. JL Audio on this TGIF edition of our lunchtime learning session, CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. Have yourself a great weekend. Thanks for all the guests. Shout out to Sounds Good Auto. Shout out to Gemsen, and shout out to JL Audio for taking the time to share with us today. On that note, I wish you guys a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday. We're going to be talking about some integration products. Talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Until next time, we connect.